everyone. Welcome to HU and Beyond. Today we have Bobby Klein here with us. He is a graduate from Harrisburg University, and he has a degree in interactive media. He's currently using that degree to work on a photography and web design freelancing business, as well as any other side projects that he has come his way. So Bobby, it's really awesome to have you here. Go ahead and take it away.
Hi, I'm Bobby. Like Vic said, I graduated from Harrisburg University in 2017 with a degree in interactive media. I'm just going to talk about my background real quick, go into how I started freelancing, and then talk about what I'm doing now. So I originally went to Harrisburg University to study video game development. About 2 years in, I realized I wasn't in the right area, and honestly it didn't fit my skill set super well. I still make games now, just more on a personal level. When I realized that, I switched my courses to reflect more marketing and user experience and design, just to keep me open to more jobs. And I also, around the same time, started doing photography as a hobby. I bought like a cheap DSLR and just started going on photo walks and taking pictures. And eventually people just started paying me for it. And that's kind of where I originally started to freelance. So when I really started getting into it is during my senior year. I started working for Harrisburg University on sort of a part-time capacity, where I would work with small businesses in the area to either build websites or other technology-based tasks that they just simply didn't know how to do. So I, built a couple of websites, worked on a couple of prototypes. I worked on a couple of apps as well, at least on the design aspect. And then once I graduated college, I struggled to find a job in my field, so I continued to try to get clients for freelancing because I was, not working a job I enjoyed. So I wanted to try to get out of that. So when I really started, I did some volunteer work for organizations like the Joshua Group and Keystone. They're two nonprofits in the Harrisburg area. So I did websites for them. I did some video along with some photography for them. And I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy not getting paid, but it was volunteer work. But I enjoyed doing the actual work. I really liked working with clients to build a website that fits their needs or really whatever they're looking for. So that helped me build up my portfolio. By the way, if you guys have any questions, I am watching the comments in the chat, so feel free to just throw them at me and I can answer them right away, or if I'm going to cover it later, I'll do that as well. So since college, I have sort of been hopping from job to job, sort of trying to figure out exactly what I like to do full time along with freelance. And I currently hold a boring day job and I freelance on the side. So man, I just lost it. So starting freelance was probably the hardest bit of probably the hardest time, because I didn't know what I was really doing. I was undercharging clients, so I built out full websites for very, very low cost, so $300 and below, which considering the amount of hours I was putting in and how much work I was putting into the website, it wasn't paying off very well. And slowly over the years, I've had to develop better ways of actually charging clients. I've gone from switching to trying to charge hourly to actually just charging them per project, and me guesstimating how many hours or how much time I'm going to put into a project. Sort of as right after college, I wasn't getting a whole lot of jobs, but as I met more people, I met more people with Harrisburg University specifically, and more people throughout other jobs I had, I've been able to sort of build up steady clientele. So I have regular photography clients who I'll do headshots with and videos with, and then I also have monthly web development clients who I have signed, like I have on contract. So I maintain their website, I make updates, and then if they want to redesign, we go back and discuss basically how that would work in terms of managing their website. I actually didn't realize I wanted to do freelance full time until more recently. So I was originally just doing it to get more experience, make money, and also try to help pay off my student loans. But as I develop more websites, I've gotten more clients, I've done more work. I realized that's just kind of what I like doing full time. I realize I don't enjoy, working for 8 hours a day for another company where I'm not going to be doing a lot of what I enjoy. So, yeah, I'm really just at this point trying to build it up. Yeah, so in terms of building my freelance, I've done it mostly by word of mouth. I've done some sort of little marketing gimmicks on my social media pages. So offering free bits of work when I can, or if I do have a slower time, or doing discounted headshots or other types of photography work that has a quick turnaround time. And that's helped me grow my business quite a bit over the past year and a half. Hey, sorry about that. My internet connection decided to not work for a couple minutes. I see I got a couple of questions. So Victoria asked, how would you describe your photography style? It kind of depends on what I'm working on. I do prefer more natural looking photos and more spontaneous looking photos. I'm not a fan of the very posed and unnatural photos, but I do have to do them for business headshots in particular, because they do need to look the same, and I do have to often switch between photography styles depending on the type of job I'm working on. So if I am doing something more for businesses or doing something more for stock images or marketing, I'll normally do something a little bit more posed. So I'll have specific poses I'd use for headshots and group shots, and specific arrangements I like to use to make my job of processing the images afterwards as easy as possible. Along with that, I also use a lot of different tools depending on the type of job I'm doing. If I'm doing a bunch of event photos, I'll do more automatic editing and automated editing to try to quicken that process up, so my client isn't stuck without the photos for a long time, and I'm not, I guess, piling up a lot of unnecessary work that I shouldn't have to be doing. So style and methods will change depending on the job. But as for personal, I really enjoy street photography and just taking pictures of people in their daily life, and people, and for families at least, letting them interact with each other, just watching them for a little while, and just take a few pictures that way. Shaney asked, what is my favorite type of job? It depends on my mood, honestly. Sometimes I am sort of craving a job where I need more of my technical skills and web development skills to solve it. I do enjoy solving issues, even though that's where 90% of my stress comes from, is trying to fix websites. But in general, my favorite type of job is probably photography, just because it's I enjoy doing it. Almost no matter what kind of job I'm doing, I can find enjoyment. And it's also a faster turnaround. So For example, if I have a web job, a lot of the work is back and forth talking with the client. So I'll give them a a wireframe and a composition of what I'm envisioning their website to be, and I have to get that approved. And then once that's approved, I have to start building the website. But sometimes things do not go according to plan, or most of the time things don't go according to plan. So there's a lot of back and forth in a website job that I could technically do within 3 weeks to 4 weeks, might take 6 months because either I'm not understanding what the client wants, or they're not sure what they want. So we have to keep trying different things to make sure the client's happy, I'm happy, and it is achieving whatever the goals the clients have. For a website, it's normally just a place for information, or a blog, or a little bit of both, or even a place for my clients to contact them. So I have to make sure everything is up, running, achieving what they want to do, and also I am happy with the work. Unfortunately, there's occasions where I'm not happy with the website, but the client is, and I just have to accept that's the way it is. But my favorite type of job is normally photography, because I go out, I shoot the images, I edit them, I send them to the client, and that's it. There's not a lot of back and forth. There's not a lot of, waiting on client input. It's more just I get the job done. If they want any changes, they can ask for it, or if it's all good, that's all good from there, and I get paid. But a lot of times I'm trying not to put myself into a specific type of job or a specific hole. I'm just trying to find work that I'm good at, I can make money at, and something I know I can do. So I basically look for any type of jobs, or any many different clients and many different jobs, really whatever I can find. A couple important things I've learned while freelancing, which I think would help other people, and things I wish I either listened to earlier from other people or just knew. So I think one of the most important things was making sure I am tracking my money, tracking my time, tracking expenses, and invoicing, and making sure all of that is together because of taxes. Because I have made the mistake in the past where I did not properly document everything, and I had to pay more taxes than I would have if I had everything documented and put together and organized. The other thing I've had to learn is I've had to go through many different tools that I use for photo editing, video editing, and web development. In particular, in terms of graphic design and photography, I've had to. I wasn't making a lot of money at freelancing, so I didn't go for expensive software. I went for software that fit my budget. So I essentially had to relearn things I already knew because I switched softwares. But it ended up being one of the better decisions I made while freelancing. The other thing that I found really important is you have to more or less be willing to learn all the time, constantly refreshing your skills, getting better at what you're already good at, and then trying to get better at things you're not good at. So web development wasn't my best skill coming out of college. It was something I knew how to do, but I didn't put the amount of time and energy into learning that during school because I didn't think I would need it as much outside. So I had to catch up. After I graduated, I had to learn a lot more about web development than I ever thought I'd learn. And I've also had to improve my graphic design drastically, my photo editing workflows, and all of that. I've had to continue to evolve over time to be able to not only keep up with my clients, but also keep up with other people that are offering the same services. And I mean, I guess the last thing was working with clients is you have to be able to identify what your clients needs, even if they don't know it. And in terms of web development and graphic design and photography, most of the clients do not know what they want and don't really understand what they need either. So you kind of have to be able to really explain. You have to be able to break things down. One of the clients I work with now is he's in his late 80s. He is old. He does not understand computers very well. He doesn't understand the internet in general, and I've often had to go into his office and sit with him for an hour to 2 hours explaining what, even though he agreed for me to build the website, I still have to explain to him specifically, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And why is it good for him? And it is legitimately annoying, but it's also good that your client is then understanding exactly what you're doing. So and he's definitely one of my toughest clients at this point, because I do have to almost every change I make or every decision I make, I have to make sure he 100% understands it, or he's not going to be happy with me, and that's just the way it is. So learn to work with clients is probably has started out easy and really just got harder from there, because I was very lucky starting out. I had good clients, I had reliable clients, and everyone always paid on time. But as I've grown as a freelancer and grown as a business, it's not always that way. And I have had to I have dropped a client in the past because it just wasn't a good fit for me working with them. So yeah, that's one super important thing is understanding your clients, knowing how to work with them, and if you do need to drop them. Okay, so Victoria asks, what advice do you have for someone that is interested in getting into photography? And it's not anything groundbreaking, but it's really just to start shooting pictures. Even if you don't have a good camera, most people have a phone, which can honestly do phenomenal pictures. And if you really do want that camera, like a separate device to take your pictures on, don't spend a lot of money on your first camera. That's not something. Luckily, I didn't make that mistake early on because I didn't have a lot of money to spend. But don't spend a lot on your first camera, because you use your first camera to learn the basics, like learn how to use the lens, learn how to compose an image, and expose your image. So get a camera to learn. It can be, I've gotten cameras for under $100 that are totally usable for learning on. But get a camera or use your phone camera and just start taking pictures. And then I would even recommend downloading free apps so you can learn how to edit your photo and how to kind of figure out what you like, and also figure out what you like to take photos of. Yeah, my biggest recommendation is just don't spend too much money on it. Spend as little as possible so you can learn, and then once you know how to take a photo, you understand sort of how to compose a photo and edit a photo, then I would recommend, if you're ready to take the next step, then get a consumer level DSLR or mirrorless camera with a basic lens kit. And that's a good way to start off if you figured out you like it already. And then the other side is use YouTube, Skillshare, LinkedIn Learning. Use websites like that have courses and videos and articles, and just keep learning. Just don't stop learning, and you should be good. But to start out, just start taking pictures, and more things will start to slide into place. The way I started was my dad was a photographer during the Vietnam War, and I was exposed to photography a lot throughout my life, and I eventually got into it as a hobby during like end of high school, college, and I got a low end DSLR camera, and I literally just started taking pictures. And the longer I did it, people just kind of started asking me, "Hey, can you do a quick headshot for me, or can you take photos for this event?" Just small jobs that I didn't make a lot of money off of, but it's kind of how the freelancing started, and also how the photography started. Is there let's see. But to go off that, if you're also interested in web development, the best way to start that is basically the same thing. As you don't have to even buy anything for web development. You can do it if you don't even have a computer. You can start learning it on your phone. There's a couple apps that will teach you the basics of web development. There is an endless supply of videos on YouTube and learning resources all over the place to start in web development. The same thing goes for graphic design. It's just find a cheap tool to use, or maybe even a free tool to use, start experimenting with it, and then start actively trying to learn more about it. But I also would say the same thing that goes for most creative endeavors, is you just have to just start doing it and then learn more. Just keep that cycle going. Vic asked, was starting a business hard? Okay. Yes and no. I currently don't operate as my own business. I operate as a sole proprietor. So me and my business are one, which is not the best way to do things, but it wasn't super hard because I didn't know what I was doing. Once I figured out what I was doing, it got more challenging because I realized, I have to track my expenses. I have to file my taxes a different way. I have to make sure that I have receipts and documentation for all of these expenses and income. So what I ended up having to do was I actually pay for a service that helps me track all my invoices, manages payments. So whenever clients want to pay me, they pay me through this app. But it also manages subscription. So I have some clients that are almost entirely subscription based. So I manage their website, I manage their social media. So I guess it kind of grows with you. So the longer you're running a business, the more you're going to have to do, but the easier it kind of gets because you already have, I guess, the base. So as long as you're starting to track things, then that you're already one step ahead. But as I grew, it has gotten a little bit more complicated as well, because sometimes I do outsource work, so I have to make sure that is properly documented, or I have to make sure that my personal expenses and business expenses are separated properly. And so starting the business not so hard, running the business hard, but it's doable because it grows with you, and it grows with what you're doing. At least that's what I've noticed. I don't know if you'll get the same answer coming from a different freelancer, someone who runs a different type of business, but this is how it worked out for me, and I think I've mostly been lucky in terms of running a business. Is there something is there something you wish you would have studied in school that would help your business? Not really. Even if I took business classes when I was in school, I don't think I would have stayed awake for them, to be totally honest. I do think learning learning my skills was the important part, and then running the business was just like something that came fairly easy. But if you do want to freelance and you know you want to freelance and you know what you want to freelance in, so if you know all this going into school, then I'd recommend putting a lot of studies into what you want to do, but also but more. So, for example, I did start in game development, but sort of switched it over to user experience and design and marketing and sort of more of a general media degree. And I think that helped me a lot because I stopped focusing on something that would be a lot harder to get into. And so I could focus on something that would help me get a job and help me, help me freelance. And honestly, the freelance, I would honestly say I fell into it by accident and just kept doing it because I don't enjoy working like an 8-hour-a-day office job. But yeah, if you're interested in freelancing, find your niche and study it in school and outside of school. And if you are not like me and would not fall asleep during a class on business, then totally do it. Although, come to think of it, I do wish I had more, financial, classes on financial literacy and managing a business, because I would not say I've done it correctly the past few years, and now I'm starting to do it right. So I've kept my business money and my personal money together. There was no real line between me as a business and me as a person. So next year, I'm looking at actually forming a proper business, so forming an LLC. So then I'm no longer I'm no longer liable for my business. So if for some reason a client wanted to sue me or whatever, my business would be affected, but my personal assets would be safe. So I kind of wish I had business classes, but realistically, I also know that I would not have paid attention to them at that point. The other big thing I would say is I don't think it's talked about as a freelancer as much is marketing yourself. So I was very, very lucky in this case. Is I didn't have to market myself at first. All of my original clients, some that are still with me today, were completely word of mouth, and specifically word of mouth through Harrisburg University. So my first 3 or 4 clients were all involved with the school I went to. So one of my clients is a board member at Harrisburg University. Another client is a former staff member at the university. And then my first few photography jobs were with the university directly. And even now, they still reach out to me occasionally for bids and work contracts. But in terms of marketing, I've noticed I don't see a lot of freelancers that have their own websites and don't have their own social media pages and all of that. I think that is a huge mistake and a huge missed opportunity. I started doing proper marketing after a couple of months of freelancing. So I set up my own website that was originally my personal portfolio website that I turned into my business website. And and I also opened up a social media page and a business Instagram page to try to do some more passive marketing, and at least a place I can post all the work that I'm currently doing and future work. But I would say marketing is probably one of the hardest to get right, and that's something I would say I have still not gotten right quite yet, because I don't find a lot of work through my website or through my social media pages. Most of my work comes through word of mouth, or in some cases, I might literally go and call up businesses and say, "Hey, your website looks like it hasn't been updated in quite a while. I have a better solution for you, or I would like to discuss possibly a better future solution for you." Uh, yeah, is there any more questions? How do I see my business growing into the future? I'm not sure. I'm getting more clients. I'm getting more work. I would love to do freelancing full time. So that's my ultimate goal. And I hope in the next 5 or so years I can do that. But unfortunately, freelancing isn't the most stable career choice, especially right now. So I guess I'm honestly gonna have to sort of wait and see and feel things out as they happen. If I continue to get more clients and I continue to make more money and grow my business, then fantastic. Then maybe in a couple years I can go freelance full time. But if the business stays as is, which isn't bad, then I'm going to have to continue to balance freelancing and working full time, which can be quite a challenge sometimes, honestly. When I graduated college, I was like, yes, I'm not going to have any homework anymore. And then I started freelancing, and then I'm like, okay, I have homework again, which it's homework I like doing, so not too bad. But yeah, hopefully I can freelance full time in the next few years or so. If not, that's fine too. But I'm gonna at least continue to try to do it as long as I can, because I do enjoy freelancing. I enjoy working with clients, and I enjoy working on a variety of projects. I never have to do the same thing twice, and it's nice thing is I can more or less choose the work I want to do. If I have a website development opportunity, then I can choose, and it's with a client I don't think I'm going to get along with. I can choose to not get that client. I'm not going to get the money from that client, but I'm also I'm also not going to have to deal with that particular client, which yeah, so it's I get to choose how I work. I get to choose when I work, which is nice but also dangerous, because if I have a week where I just don't want to get anything done, things might not get done that need to get done on time, or I might end up procrastinating and getting a website done at 1 a.m. the day before I said it would be done, which I unfortunately have done. But I've also worked to try to limit that to happening as little as possible. Sometimes it is unavoidable. Sometimes it's perfectly avoidable, and I just didn't plan out the work like I thought it would, or I didn't think it would go as I thought it would, or something broke and things happen. But yeah, I get to choose how I work, which is just nice.
Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. And I really appreciate you taking the time out of your afternoon to come and speak with us. Hopefully everybody learned a lot. And everybody, thank you so much for watching HU and Beyond, and we will see you next week.